Murder of 23-year-old Hannah McGuire has faced court in Ballarat.
At 3:43 in the morning, Debbie McGuire's phone lit up. It was a message from her daughter Hannah. She read it in the dark. "I'm sorry, Mum. I thought this was the right decision. I tried to heal and cope with it all, but I'm not okay. I tried messaging Latch, but he doesn't want anything to do with me now. Please check in on him. This is going to break his heart." Debbie McGuire did not know in that moment that her daughter had not written that message, that Hannah had been dead for hours, that the man who had killed her had written that text himself from Hannah's phone, while her body was already in the back of a car burning in a paddock outside Ballarat. He had written it carefully. He had made it sound like her. He had asked her mother to look after him. And then he had transferred $5,000 from Hannah's bank account to his own. Hannah McGuire was 23 years old. She had just ended their relationship. She was going to take the house. And that, according to everything a jury heard in a Ballarat courtroom in 2025, was why she died. Hannah McGuire grew up in Clunes, a small historic gold rush town in central Victoria, about 40 kilometers north of Ballarat, the kind of place where people know each other and community means something real. She was the daughter of Debbie and Glenn McGuire, and by every account of everyone who loved her, she was exactly the kind of person a small town remembers warmly. She worked as an educational support worker at Lachlan Primary School in Ballarat for 4 years, helping children in the out-of-school hours program. Her colleagues described her as someone who could always get a child to smile and feel welcomed. Her students called her amazing. When news of her death reached the school, her young students were described as heartbroken. Hannah was 23. She was at the beginning of everything. She had made a decision, a brave and entirely reasonable decision, to leave a relationship that was not good for her. She had told Lachlan Young she was leaving. She was going to take the house and the shared property. She was moving forward. She did not get to. I want to say something before we go further. Hannah McGuire made a completely normal, completely reasonable, completely brave decision to leave a relationship. Women leave relationships every day. That is not a risk factor. It is not a provocation. It is not something that requires explanation or justification. The fact that leaving is sometimes what triggers the violence is one of the most important and most difficult things to hold about cases like this one. She did everything right, and she was killed for it. Lachlan Young was 21 years old when he killed Hannah, the same age as her. He had been her partner, and they had been living together in Sebastopol, a suburb of Ballarat. Hannah's parents described him in court as a problem drinker who did not treat their daughter well. The relationship had been difficult. By early April 2024, Hannah had made her decision. She was leaving. She had told him. She was going to take the house and other shared property that they owned together. Court evidence would later establish that Young had been aware of Hannah's decision to leave and that his response to it, the plan he formed and the actions he took, were deliberate and premeditated. This was not a moment of uncontrolled rage. This was a plan. He had thought about what he was going to do. He had thought about what he was going to do afterward. And he had written a fake suicide note in advance, crafted in Hannah's voice, designed to make her mother believe her daughter had chosen to end her own life before he killed her. On the night of April 4th and into the early hours of April 5th, 2024, Lachlan Young strangled Hannah McGuire to death on the bathroom floor of their home in Sebastopol. She was 23 years old. She died in her own bathroom. After killing her, Young placed her body into the rear footwell of her Mitsubishi Triton, a four-wheel drive vehicle she owned. He drove approximately 40 kilometers southwest of Ballarat to a dirt track called State Forest Road near Scarsdale, remote bushland, no houses, no witnesses, no cameras. He placed her body inside the car. He set the car on fire. He drove away. Then he took her phone. He opened it, and he wrote the message that would wake her mother at 3:43 in the morning. "I'm sorry, Mum. I thought this was the right decision." He wrote it in Hannah's voice. He asked Debbie McGuire to check in on him. He signed off as her daughter. Then he opened Hannah's bank app and transferred $5,000 from her account to his own. By the time Debbie McGuire read that message in the dark, Hannah had been dead for hours, and her body was burning in a paddock outside Ballarat. Her car was found the following morning. Her remains were identified by forensic examination. Young was arrested on April 8, 2024, and charged with murder. He was 21 years old. He wrote that message from her phone while her body was burning in a paddock. He asked her mother to look after him, and then he transferred $5,000 from her account to his own. I want you to think about the order of those things. He killed her. He burned her. He wrote a message designed to make her family believe she had chosen to die. And then he took her money. That sequence tells you everything about what this was. It was not grief. It was not panic. It was administration. The message Young sent from Hannah's phone to her mother Debbie was shown to the jury in full during the trial. I want to read it to you because I think it matters to hear exactly what he wrote. Because it tells you something about the calculation behind it, the deliberate, studied effort to sound like Hannah, to place the blame for her death on her own mental state, and to ensure that Young himself was seen as a victim of her loss rather than the cause of it.
I'm sorry, Mum. I thought this was the right decision. I tried to heal and cope with it all, but I'm not okay. I tried messaging Latch, but he doesn't want anything to do with me now. Please check in on him. This is going to break his heart.
He signed it as Hannah. He sent it at 3:42 in the morning. He had killed her hours earlier. He wanted her mother to find it in the night, to believe it was real, to begin grieving a suicide rather than searching for a daughter. And he wanted her mother's first instinct, her first act of care, to be directed toward him. Debbie McGuire received that message at 3:43 in the morning and believed her daughter had chosen to die. She woke up believing that. She carried that for however many hours passed between that message and the discovery of Hannah's burned car, believing her daughter had left a note. When she learned the truth, she had to process not just her daughter's murder, but the specific cruelty of what had been done to her in the hours after. He had weaponized her grief before she even knew she was grieving. That is something I do not have the right words for. Hannah's family reported her missing after receiving the message. Her burned-out car was found on State Forest Road near Scarsdale on April 5, 2024. Human remains were found inside. Forensic examination confirmed they belonged to Hannah McGuire. Investigators immediately began examining the circumstances of her death. The text messages sent from her phone in the early hours of April 5th were quickly identified as inconsistent with her typical communication patterns. The $5,000 bank transfer from Hannah's account to Young's account in the same window was traced. CCTV and phone tower data placed Young's movements in the period surrounding her death and the disposal of her body. On April 8, 2024, 3 days after Hannah's car was found, Lachlan Young was arrested and charged with murder. A second 22-year-old man was arrested at the same time, but was later released without charge. Young initially admitted to investigators that he had killed Hannah and disposed of her body. His legal position, the position he would maintain through months of proceedings, was not that he had not killed her. It was that he had not done so with murderous intent. He offered to plead guilty to manslaughter. The prosecution rejected the offer. They believed this was murder. They intended to prove it. The murder trial of Lachlan Young opened in the Supreme Court of Victoria in Ballarat on July 9, 2025. It was expected to last 5 weeks. Young had pleaded not guilty to murder, maintaining that while he admitted killing Hannah and disposing of her body, he denied acting with the intent required to constitute murder under Victorian law. The prosecution presented its case systematically. The planning evidence, the fake suicide note, the bank transfer, the body disposal, the cover-up. On the 8th day of the trial, with the prosecution's evidence still being presented, Young was rearraigned. He changed his plea. He pleaded guilty to murder. The trial that had been expected to run for 5 weeks ended on its 8th day. Close to 100 people were in the courtroom on November 18, 2025, when Justice James Elliott delivered the sentence. Lachlan Young appeared wearing a black button-down shirt.
Imagine this is a very devastating time for the family, for Hannah's loved ones, and for our community as a whole. The family have been assisting the police, however, I cannot comment on the status of the matter. I would ask that everyone is mindful of the family during this period of time, that you respect their privacy and you give them time to mourn the loss of Hannah.
Justice Elliott sentenced him to 28 years imprisonment, with a non-parole period of 22 years and 4 months. He will be in his mid-40s before he can apply for release. Hannah's parents, Debbie and Glenn McGuire, were in court for every day of it. They walked out of the Ballarat law courts together on sentencing day. They held each other. They had sat through 8 days of evidence about how their daughter died, who wrote her final message, and what happened to her in the hours after. Hannah McGuire is one of far too many Australian women killed by a current or former partner. The statistics behind cases like hers are not abstractions. They are a pattern that researchers, advocates, and frontline workers have been documenting for decades. In Australia, on average, 1 woman is killed by a current or former partner every 9 days. The period immediately following a woman's decision to leave a relationship is consistently identified as the most dangerous time, the moment when the threat of violence is statistically highest. Hannah told Lachlan Young she was leaving. She was going to take the house. She was moving on. That decision, a completely reasonable, completely normal decision, placed her in the window of maximum risk. The fake suicide note Young wrote after her death added a specific dimension to this case that advocates have highlighted publicly: the deliberate use of a staged suicide to avoid accountability for femicide. The message was designed not just to mislead investigators, but to reframe Hannah's death as her own choice, to make her complicit in death, in covering up what had been done to her. Victoria's family violence legislation and the national framework around coercive control are both being examined in the aftermath of cases like Hannah's. Whether systemic change follows is a question that her family, and the families of every woman in those statistics, are waiting on governments to answer. Debbie McGuire woke up at 3:43 in the morning to a message she believed was from her daughter. She spent the hours that followed thinking Hannah had chosen to leave the world. Then she learned the truth. And then she sat in a courtroom in Ballarat for 8 days while the truth was laid out in front of her. She walked out of that courtroom beside her husband on November 18, 2025, after the sentence was delivered. She has spoken publicly about Hannah since, about who she was, about what she deserved, about what it means to lose a child to this kind of violence. If you or someone you know is experiencing family violence, Please reach out to 1800 Respect on 1800 737 732, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hannah McGuire was 23 years old. She was brave enough to leave. She deserved to go. Subscribe to Vault of Crime. Every week we tell the stories that deserve more than a statistic. We will see you in the next one.